Alrighty, so all the match from match week number 6 is in the books, and today we are going to review the last two games that happened on Sunday. And we start off with the first one, which is St. Louis City versus Austin. And it's a good thing that there was a big window between both of these games because there was a weather delay in this game. It's the first time that we saw a weather delay affect a game, though it wasn't long enough in a sense that, I was maybe a little bit concerned the fact that we were going to get a little overlap between both of these games. Now, early on, the first shot of the game did see Bakari hits the side netting in the near post before Morales would puts it high from long range. I thought St. Louis was on the front foot, but that was kind of by design. It feels like Austin was doing something similar to they did in the last game against San Diego. They were just gonna like to sit back and counter, and this time it kind of makes more sense considering with St. Louis being the home side and Austin being the away side. Usually, you see the home side want to be the protagonist and control the possession. Though early on, the shots were two apiece for St. Louis 20 minutes in. Yeah, this wasn't really kind of an entertaining game for a neutral to watch. I mean, if you would expect some fireworks that was happening, first, you probably should have just watched the NYCFC versus Atlanta and the San Diego FC versus LAFC game for fireworks because there wasn't really too much fireworks in this one when it comes to the offense for both of these teams. Wolf would then heads it wide from close to the 24th minute before Gallagher puts one into the stands as Austin started to gain a little control of this game and getting chances and look for their opening goal. And they did exactly that in the 33rd minute as Uzuni finally scored his first career MLS goal from Bakari to give Austin a 1-0 lead. Little do we know that that would actually be the only goal that was scored in this game and the winner of this one. But Vasquez did look for the second for Los Verdes, but he was denied by Lund. There was no doubt the momentum was with the Verdes. You can clearly see that St. Louis back line looked up against it, especially. I understand that St. Louis is dealing with some injuries, but man, for a back line that has been really sturdy throughout the season, yeah, they definitely didn't look sturdy, at least in the first half, that is. There was a shout for a penalty for St. Louis not given, but we do head to halftime with Austin leading 1-0. In the second half, Stuver would deny hard pill from close. St. Louis once again has most of the possession, but that's kind of by design. Knowing that now Austin have the lead, they were kind of do what all road team does when they have the lead. They're just going to try to protect it and make it hard on the home team to break them down, and that's exactly what happened because for the most part, St. Louis lacked any ideas going forward in the final third, and that's partially due to Austin being very good defensively, but also partially due to the fact that St. Louis this season, this is not the first time we've seen this season under Olaf Malberg, where the team just looked very stagnated when they get into the final third. And then Bakari looked like he scored the second goal for Austin, but the flag did not agree with him in the 58th minute. In the 67th minute, this is where we saw the weather delay. They didn't exactly say whether it's a lightning delay or not. They just said it's inclement weather. I'm gonna assume it's probably a lightning delay. It was raining really hard at City Park, or as now it's called Energizer Park. That is, I'm pretty sure a lot of St. Louis fans will still call that stadium City Park, even though they got a new sponsor this year. But yeah, there's no doubt that it was definitely started to rain really hard to a point where, yeah, there was a case that this game would be delayed. They even mentioned in the beginning of the game there could be a case in the second half where this game could be delayed, and there it is. So the game was delayed for about an hour, and when the play resumed, I thought St. Louis definitely started to show more urgency. And you just kind of had a sense they have to because, with 20 minutes to go, they have to go for it, try to get that opening thing go. But again, despite the fact that they show a lot more urgency, Austin was still defending very well and sitting deep. Pompeo would then puts one into the support group section. More injury concern for St. Louis as Horn had to pull off with a hamstring injury. He has to be subbed off, so Bungardo replace him there. And really, as the time winds down, Austin has just completely dropped their lines. They're not even thinking about counterattacking. They're looking to see how this 1-0 win, while St. Louis try and find any way to try to create the chance for the equalizer. They did get a chance in the 89th minute, but it was Wallen's shot that was deflected and wide before Bungardo just could not toe poke that one in from a dangerous cross for St. Louis, and then he hits it right to Stuvert in the fourth minute of stoppage time. And yeah, in the end, Austin, they did it again, going on the road. This is kind of their specialty this season of getting 1-0 result. I believe they mentioned of all the games that Austin have played this season, only one game that actually didn't feature the scoreline of 1-0, and that was the last game against San Diego FC. But yeah, Nico Estevez, man, continue this good defensive record and just does just enough on the attacking end to win the game here. Shots in this one, 14 shots for the 8 that Austin has, 3 shots on goal for the 2 that Austin had, 3 shots off target for both of these teams, 8 shots that was blocked for the 2 that Austin has, and possession-wise, 58% possession compared to 42% possession that Austin has in this game. And again, I know St. Louis is dealing with injuries, and this game is also a clear example that, yeah, they really miss Edouard Leuven. With him being suspended in this game, they really lost a lot of creativity if there was actually any with this team, because they have really struggled going forward this season on the attacking end. But still, I mean, just not a great performance whatsoever. And now, I know it's still really early in the season, but there's got to be questions that's got to be asked, especially from St. Louis perspective, especially toward the front office as well, because again, heading into the season, they had a big decision of whether or not if they were going to stick with John Hackworth or or Olaf Malberg, and so far early on, yeah, Olaf Malberg doesn't seem like he's the man to really lead this team to do well, and especially with how John Hackworth really got the team going. Maybe some St. Louis fans feel like the front office make the wrong decision of decided to not promote him as a permanent head coach and get a guy that clearly has not given the new head coach boost or the new head coach bounce that St. Louis fans were hoping for, and continue the momentum that they had in the second half of the last season as well. But now moving on, in the next one is the Portland Timbers versus the Houston Dynamo. So all of a sudden, the Portland Timbers looks like they're starting to get things going. So after a bit of a slow start to the season, and how I'm pretty sure Phil Neville was under a lot of pressure. It seems like the pressure has kind of relieved in these last couple of games of getting another win against a lowly Houston side. Though early on, the Dynamo had most of the possession, but that was kind of by design. The Timbers likes to sit back and counter. The first shot of the game did see Mosquera puts it wide off of a deflection, but on the second shot of the game, it's in the back of the net. It's Felipe Mora. He scored from Mosquera to make it 1-0 in favor of the Timbers. Yeah, that was not great defending there from the Portland Timbers. One of the Dynamo player kind of played it right into the path of Mosquera, and he sets Mora perfectly to give the Timbers a 1-0 lead. The lead lasted only 5 minutes, because in the 12th minute, Franco Escobar would score from McGlynn to tie the game up at one apiece. And talk about bad defending. Yeah, this was not great defending from the Timbers either. I mean, it was a great set piece delivery from McGlynn. We know he can whip the ball into the box like that, but just the Timbers completely falling asleep in the back post, letting Escobar completely unmarked in the back post, and yeah, rightfully so punished. And just like that, the game was tied up at one apiece. But he wouldn't stay tied for long, as in the 23rd minute, the Timbers retake the lead. It's Anthony. He scored for Mora to make it 2-1 in favor of the Portland Timbers. And yeah, that was a bread and butter play for the Portland Timbers. I've said it many times over the year, the Timbers love to go on the counter attack and score goals. And there you go. That's kind of their bread and butter, and exactly what happened. And just like that, the Timbers had the lead back. Escobar looked to respond, but he missed wide on the header. The Timbers, I thought, also kind of looked really shaky when it comes to defending process in the box, especially set piece as well. Though Gillingham did deny an entity on the header, the Dynamo was having tough time dealing with the Timbers transition, and that would also be a theme throughout this game, where the Dynamo just have no answer in terms of dealing with the Timbers transition. Ladero would then puts it wide from long range. The shots were 5-4 for the Timbers up to that point. Forey would then puts it right to Gillingham before Anthony would hit it right to Gillingham after another lightning counter attack from Portland Timbers. Da Costa then pulls it just wide from close in the 5th minute of stoppage time. The Dynamo are just praying for halftime, because up to this point, it was unrelentless pressure that the Portland Timbers were putting in, and it seems like they were looking to score another goal before halftime. But we do go to halftime with the Timbers leading 2-1, and all that pressure that the Dynamo absorbed and able to survive, that kind of come key, at least in the beginning part of the second half, because this is when they started to get things going in the beginning of the second half. Actually, well, before I do this, continue the review, I just realized that my computer is starting to run out of battery. So let me just charge this before um this video inexplicably shut off because of low battery. But anyway, in the second half, Escobar would have a shot that was deflected and goes wide. The Dynamo, I thought, were the better team to start the second half, looking for the equalizer. Ponce would puts it wide from close before Autor puts it wide, or actually puts it way high in the 61st minute. The shots were now 8 apiece for the Portland Timbers. So after the Timbers seems like they jumped out in favor of the shots, the Dynamo was started to put this one back to dead even. Though Gillingham did deny Mora in the 70th minute, but he almost got punished for giving up a juicy rebound right into the path of Mascara, who couldn't pounce on this one. By the way, that probably should have been a corner instead of being a goal kick, because when Mascara tried to take advantage of that juicy rebound, it looks like it last touch of Gillingham, and Gillingham actually kind of made a double save to prevent of giving up the third goal for the Portland Timbers. But unfortunately, just 1 minute later, he would give up the third goal for the Portland Timbers, as Anthony would score again here to make it 3-1. But again, the story of this season for the Houston Dynamo in terms of the winless run is just self-inflicted mistake. There's just way too many self-inflicted mistakes that they have made throughout this season. And here we go with another self-inflicted mistake, as a back pass by McGlynn basically forced his goalkeeper to try to come out. He couldn't quite get there in time, and yeah, they were rightfully punished because of it. And just like that, it was 3-1 in favor of the Timbers. And also just like that, the momentum was pretty much all but dead. The Houston Dynamo. This is when the Timbers were hungry again for the fourth goal. Marino would look to get another, but he puts it wide in the 80th minute before Lassiter would puts it right to Gillingham in the 86th minute. As I even mentioned, the third goal that was conceded pretty much has ended all hopes of the Dynamo of getting themselves back into this game. And it's not a big surprise, because when you have a team that is low on morale and are still winless, as soon as you give up a crucial goal, the heads immediately drop. And you can clearly see that those Dynamo players, their heads clearly drop after that third goal that was conceded. But the Timbers wouldn't care. They were still pressing to get the fourth goal. And they almost got it if it wasn't for Gillingham absolutely robbed Bravo on a free header there. I mean, Blake Gillingham, he did his best to try to keep this one close. I think if it wasn't for him, this game probably would have been even more uglier than the 3-1 scoreline that is indicated. But that being said, speaking of 3-1, that would be the final scoreline of this game, as the Timbers have now made it back win this in these last two games. The shots in this one, 16 shots with the 12 that the Dynamo has. 11 shots on goal compared to one that the Dynamo has. Yeah, that Dynamo defense throughout this game, we're pretty much non-existent throughout. Free shots off target for the six that the Houston Dynamo has. Both teams had free shots off block, and possession-wise, 43% possession compared to 57% possession the Dynamo has in this game. And I know throughout this upcoming season, the Dynamo have said that they were still working on making some signing, and we knew that they were going to be very short-handed heading into this year. And while they're trying to survive this before they get into the summer transfer window for reinforcement, how many times we have seen when teams try to do that, it just does not work out whatsoever. And I get that, yes, the summer transfer window is where the big deals can be made, but at some point you gotta at least have enough reinforcement to survive to that point, because more times than not when we see teams try to do that, as it seems like the Houston Dynamo is trying to do exactly that, it just does not work whatsoever, and it feels like it's not going to work again for the Houston Dynamo, because of the way that this team, they look like completely lost in these last couple of games. Self-inflicted mistake, and also just not enough talent. It's started to really caught up to this team to a point where it's now bringing them back to what we saw a couple of years ago, where I think between 2018 all the way to before Ben Olsen was hired, this team was lingering at the bottom of the Western Conference, and it looks like they're heading that way for the majority of the first half of the season. But for the Portland Timbers, it's a great win for them, and now they're kind of usually getting the usual Phil Neville special of getting on a hot streak. We'll see how long this, of course, lasts, because again, if there's one thing we know about Phil Neville, is that with his team, usually they get on a hot streak, but once that hot streak ends, I think maybe Timbers fans might be worried, because as we've seen with Phil Neville team, when the hot streak ends, then they go on a cold streak and things can go bad for this team. But at least this team is on a high, and I think Timbers fan will be happy for that, until maybe things won't be so good later in the season. But there you have it. That is pretty much it in terms of the review of both of these games. As always, let me know in the comments below what do you think of both of these games to wrap up match week number 6. But until then, hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you do, make sure you guys leave a like, smash the subscribe button, and yeah, I of course will see you guys next time.